Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. A man I was seeing just called the police on me. Started seeing this man only last month, my first time dating after taking 2 years off to heal from a past 5-year abusive situation. In any case, we had been arguing over text. He called me 8 times in a row, I missed his calls, then he blocked me absolutely everywhere with no explanation. I managed to finally reach out to him on one of his accounts and he agreed to have one final conversation with me the next day. But when the next day came, he had blocked me there as well, and instead I got a call from the police saying they were concerned for my welfare. Dehumanizing, traumatizing, horrible experience. Basically he used me, didn't want me, I became too difficult, and I think I somehow wounded his ego and he thought it would be payback to involve the police. I sincerely doubt he was actually concerned for my welfare. Story 2. Trying this post here, my husband just attacked me. Hello all. This is my first post, and this is all very fresh, so please bear with me. My husband just attacked me yet again. I'm struggling with going to the authorities because he's threatening to use my self-defense against me, saying he's the victim. I don't even know where to begin. We've had these issues for years. He's an alcoholic, and very easily triggered. Tonight he's drinking and listening to his music very loudly. I ask him to turn it down and all of a sudden he's attacking me. Now mind you, I'm laying down in bed, so he has to physically get up and come over to me. I have video of him attacking me and yelling, "I'm not attacking you," as he's over in my area clearly doing it. I did take pictures, and I have scratches. He broke my bracelet and I think my lip was hit. He says if I report him he has rights and I will be in equally as much trouble because I was defending myself and he got hurt. He gave me a black eye almost a year ago and I never reported that either. I don't know what to do. Story 3. My dad died last year and I'm now starting to experience the grief. As the title says, my dad died last year. And I just feel bittersweet. I had resented him for leaving my family when I was 12 and started a new family. I'm 22F now, and only recently managed to get over that and forgive him a couple months before he died. I never got to talk to him much because he was in another country. When COVID hit, he got it and ever since then his health declined. He got worse and worse. When I spoke to him, he sounded so weak and brittle and I felt so immensely bad. When I was a kid my goal was to take care of my parents. But now I feel like I did it a little too late. And then he got a stroke. God, I remember worrying about him when I heard he was in the hospital. Paying for his food and apartment, but not giving it second thought because, well, I have my own life. If only I called him more. He forgot who I was for a second and I cried. On Father's Day I called him on my own to wish him a happy one and that was the first time I heard him cry in years. He thought I forgot about him. My dad calls me his princess, his baby princess, and I just miss hearing him call my name. I miss him, I miss his voice, I miss his hugs, I miss us doing our little dance together. When I got the news he passed, I was devastated. I didn't eat or anything. I think that's when I started going downhill. I lost my job from grief, stayed in, ordered out. I never really unpacked it all. But the one thing I wish I could do is just tell him how much I love him and hug him. I just wanna cry and say that I miss him and that I've never hated him or forgot about him. That sometimes when I'm sad or I'm stressed I think about him to calm me down. I'm a mess right now writing this. Snot and tears. I get so jealous knowing others will have their fathers watch them get married and I'll have to walk with my dad's picture down the aisle. He won't meet my grandkids, won't meet my husband, won't get to cry with me when I get engaged. None of it. I watch videos in Reddit of daughters with their dads and I think I should have been a better daughter, or that should be me and my dad. I'm rambling, I know. I'm just broken right now. You know, on his gravestone they didn't even put his picture on there? It's like they rushed it. It feels disrespectful, but my dad was simple. He liked simple things. He was buried next to grandma, so as long as he's happy. God, I miss my dad, I miss him so much, I want him here, I know it's not possible to bring him back but I miss him so much. Daddy, I miss you. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 4. I feel stuck about having a proper sit down my parents. I, F24, moved to Australia with my parents, M49 and F47, back in 2019. I think that would make me first gen, right? I'm not entirely sure. I'm the eldest out of 3 siblings, F17 F15, and have always had a rough relationship with my parents. I used to live in the Philippines where I was just the quiet and reserved kid. My parents never really tried to hear me out. They never tried to listen to how me and my siblings felt about certain things. One sentence that stood out to me the most from my parents as I was growing up was, "Be patient with us. You're just our children." That sentence itself made me feel like I was barely anything. It sounds worse when you translate it in Tagalog. They would always say that whenever they didn't want to admit that they were wrong. Till this day, they still say that a lot. It's been hard. After moving to Australia and after meeting a lot of new people, I've come to realize that I'm my own person. I can say no to things. I can speak up for myself. I tried with my parents. Unfortunately, it sent me spiraling. I am good now though after a few therapy sessions. The fact that they couldn't respect me as a person and only saw me as a thing that will always be below them. I think my mum constantly being spoiled by my dad who's constantly siding with her no matter what has made my mum think that she can never be wrong. She always tries to victimize herself and change up how the story goes to make herself look good. I think she's pretty narcissistic from what I've observed the past few years. To get to the point, I see how this mindset that they have is currently affecting how my sisters are growing up to be. It upsets me because they're still so young but I could already tell that they're gonna end up resenting our parents when they grow older. I love my parents and I want them to be a better parent towards my siblings. Is it worth it having a sit down with my parents about all of this? Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 5. I had to cull an animal today. My parents' dog had puppies, someone gave them an intact male and they forgot our other dog is also intact, and after the last litter my mom couldn't get enough money together to spay her. She had 5 puppies today. The last one born came out so emaciated, his legs were shriveled and twisted. I saw him and thought he was dead. I went to remove him, only to find out he was breathing once every 30 seconds. He was just going to suffer. I prayed over him, said some words, but I couldn't finish it and my spouse had to. I'm crying. This isn't the first time. I've done it with piglets that were too sick to live when we still kept farm animals, but I've never had to do it to a puppy. He was alive for less than 10 minutes and he didn't move except for the way too far apart breathing. Life was not a blessing for him. His mom had already started ignoring him and pushed him away. Story 6. I cheated on my online boyfriend and I can't live with the guilt. This is my first Reddit post, so I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense. I, 19F, met my ex-boyfriend, 19M, on Discord, don't laugh, when we were both 15. Let's call him Jack. We talked for several months and called here and there. Overall we got super close and he eventually asked me to be his girlfriend. It was my first relationship, so I really thought that I was going to move from the US to the UK and marry this guy eventually. We dated for a while actually, 2 years without having ever met in person. It sounds a bit absurd but I had planned to visit the summer of my senior year and really felt like I loved him. Anyways, both Jack and I were 17 when I met who we'll call Alex, 19M currently, 17 then. I met him through one of my close friends and hung out with him frequently with my other friends. We seemed to get along really well, and eventually we became good friends and started to hang out with just the two of us. This was probably my first mistake. I let Jack know about Alex, and never hid the fact that I was hanging around him, but I assured him that it was nothing more than a platonic relationship. At first this was true, but being around Alex made me realize how much I was missing out on spending 2 years in an online relationship with someone I had never met before. I felt like I was missing out, and really started to fall for Alex. My second mistake was not breaking it off with Jack as soon as I realized I was losing feelings for him and wishing I could be with Alex instead. I confessed to Alex that I did love him, but I was too scared to break things off with Jack because I wasn't sure how he would react. That night, however, I told Jack that I didn't think I could go on like we were, and that the long-distance relationship just wasn't enough for me anymore. But, he talked me out of it. I felt too bad to break up with him. I'm not saying he manipulated me, I could have been stronger and gone through with it, but I let him talk me into staying with him. All throughout this situation I was hurting Alex too, leading him on and giving false promises that I would break up with Jack, only to be talked out of it. The beginning of the end was when I went with Alex and a few other friends, and I got completely drunk. The result of this was me kissing Alex and cheating on Jack despite knowing it was wrong. To make a long story short, I confessed what I did to Jack the next morning, when I was sober. He wanted to forgive me and stay with me, but I refused, knowing that he deserved to be with someone that truly loved him. Jack wanted to stay friends, but I didn't think it was a good idea. I thought it would be harder for both of us, so I suggested minimal contact. Things were okay for a while, until I posted a photo of me and Alex together on my Instagram. We had gotten together a couple of weeks after the breakup, and I admit it was poor judgment on my part, but I didn't think he would see the post. That was when he really snapped. He called me a whore, said I was abusive, and I don't know, maybe I really was. I didn't want all of this to happen. I never in a million years thought I might cheat on someone. Or caused someone to hate me so much. It's been over a year and a half since the breakup, and I'm still in a happy and healthy relationship with Alex. He is everything and more to me. But I still, daily, feel the guilt of having cheated on Jack, and I feel as if I will never feel worthy of calling myself a good person because I cheated. It just feels like a mark that will always be there. I guess that's it for my stupid little story, I just wanted to tell someone. Thanks for listening, guys. Story 7. Am I asexual or just destined to be alone? I am 22. I have never had a boyfriend, nor have I kissed anyone, boy or girl. I have always thought I was straight or bi, but a few days ago, a boy started talking with me. I don't have any friends in college, so I was happy to speak with someone. He seemed like a good guy, and he invited me to eat with him after classes. I agreed. We hung out after our classes finished and he walked me to the bus because my college is in not so safe area. The next day he invited me to a party. I am not interested in parties but decided that one party would be fine to cross from my college basket list. The party was fine. He arrived late so I was mostly alone, but I had fun. I don't like to dance, so I just sat in the corner drinking Coke and reading on my phone. When he arrived we talked for a bit and he left to talk with his friends. I left early and later that night we talked on the phone. I don't know why, but I am just regretting the whole thing. He is not a bad guy, but I think he has the wrong impression. He suggested I come to his apartment sometime this week and honestly, I am just not into it. When I think of kissing him I find myself disgusted. Is there something wrong with me? I never felt this desire to date someone, but I always assumed I would one day, hopefully in the distant future, I would find someone. Now I am worried I will never find someone I like or even want to. So am I destined to be alone? That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.